Do you love crafting, especially Christmas crafting, especially with vintage items? Me too. Hi, I'm Billie with Made Bayou from South Louisiana, and we're going to do 3 items with vintage tins. You can use these type of tins. They don't have to be vintage. Use what you have. Use what you have on hand. They're all so pretty. You can use cookie cutters or Jello molds, even a pot. Anything that has a lip that you could put vintage goodies in. A jar lid. Be creative. Today I'm going to show you 3 ways to use these tins to make Christmas crafts. Got this vintage inspired paper from Amazon. You can also find it on Temu. And trace the cookie cutter design onto the paper and cut it out. Now, once I had my little shape cut out, I got my Mod Podge, and you can use Elmer's glue also, just some glue, some type of glue to adhere it to the bottom of this vintage cookie cutter. And now I'm going to smooth it down, and then I'm going to top coat it with Mod Podge after I dry it and make sure the edges are nice and sealed. I don't want them edges rolling up. And then I'm going to dry it again because now I want to put a little sparkle using some glitter just on the brim of his hat and the little ball of his hat. So that's why I wanted it dry, because I didn't want it all over the design. Now I have some Well Bond. You can use any type of glue that adheres to metal, and this is what I have. So I put it on little greenery and bow with a little hot glue. The Well Bond is going to hold it long term. The hot glue is just going to stick it quick, have the quick stick. And now I'm going to do the same with the little rocking horse. And that is it. Look at that one. Now I have a bell. I'm going to trace a little bell design on the back. Now these papers are white. If you like the distressed and the dirty look, you can for surely put your vintage dark wax all over it. But I'm just using it as is. I did the same thing with my Mod Podge, making sure the edges are nice and coated to seal them down. This one, I'm going to coat the whole thing with glitter. I want it to sparkle. And I found this little vintage, this is actually a true vintage little Santa that I'm going to glue right in the middle there. In my drill, these are very thin metal, so I got my drill and I just put 2 holes in the heart and then 1 hole in the bell, the top of the bell. And I'm going to get my sanding block and just kind of sand to make that metal that's not so rough, sand it down a little bit. And I got this string, this red and white string, put a little dab of hot glue to make it easier to thread in these small holes. And threaded them, tied a knot, and now I'm going to glue the knot in place just so they're fixed and adhered right there and they don't come unknotted. Clip off the excess, and that is it. I hope it inspires you to give it a try. A good reason to get those vintage molds out of your drawer or thrift for some. Wasn't that fun? Now get your Tart containers and let's make some more. Here I'm using these Tart molds again, and I just stuffed the fabric with backing and tied it off, and now I took my drill and I'm going to drill a hole and then smooth it out with my sander. Took some wet red and white string that I got from Hobby Lobby, put a little glue on the end of it so I'd be able to thread that hole. It made it like a needle, so to speak. Tied a knot in my string and then added the glue, pulled the knot tight. And now I'm going to put my little pillow back into my mold and I'm going to glue it down. And isn't it the cutest little ornament ever? Next, I got some other material. I couldn't do it like I did the last time because of the shape of this mold. So I'm going to go ahead and just stuff the mold and then glue it down flat onto the fabric and then trim it off. And we're going to see if this works equally as well. I did a diamond shaped one, and I'm also going to do a round one. Now once this glue is dry, I'm going to cut it off. And now you can kind of see it's not clean. So I'm going to take my ribbon, my little red and white twine, and glue it around the edges just to make it a more clean finish. And I'm liking the way this looks. I love this vintage fabric. It has embroidered wreaths all over it, and they are the perfect size for these little tin molds, vintage tin molds at that. So after I have it trimmed off, I have this little bow. It's a little velvet bow, and I am just going to use the wire of the bow, wrap it around, and also a rusty bell. Now this one I'm doing the same way, stuffing it and then laying it flat because I want it to match the ornament I just did. I'm gluing it around, and then of course I'm going to have to trim it off with my twine, my red and white twine. And I had already put the hanger in this one before I started, so it's already done. I didn't do that to the other one, and that's why I had to use the wire off of that bow. And now I'm going to top it with, once I have it all trimmed off, I'm going to top it with the same red bow to give it a matching look to the other one. And that is it. I hope y'all love this. Give it a try if you have these vintage molds laying around. Get them out so you can enjoy them, or I'll give you a good reason to go thrift for some. They were fun to make and came out simply darling. Lastly, we're going to use Jello molds. They are so cute, so fun to work with. They come in different sizes, so you need 3 different sizes. A small, medium, and anything larger on the bottom. And you were just going to stack them. So let's see how this one comes out. Let's make a Christmas tree out of these vintage molds. So first I started with weld bond glue and wood block. Now it would have been better if I had some little round wood blocks, maybe a dowel, a thick dowel cut down, or even little squares, but I didn't. This is the only thing I could find. These are Jenga blocks, and they fit inside of each one of these because you don't want them, you need them stacked up off of each other so they're not just crushing each other. Not unless you had a whole bunch of them, but I just have 3, and you need them in different sizes. So you're going to stack them, and we're going to make a Christmas tree. So I well bonded these blocks together, and now I'm going to well bond the bottom and put a dab of glue, not where the well bond is, but I left a spot just for the glue, and I'm going to glue it onto the largest little Jello mold. And now I'm going to add the second block by putting the hot glue on the corners along with well bond on where I think the block is going to touch the mold. As you could see, it would be better if I had something round so it would fit on the bottom and just do it flat, and that would be better. Now this may not hold, but I am just showing you the idea only. But it might hold because, you know, well bond is really strong. So now I'm just going to keep doing the same thing, putting the next stack of blocks onto the second mold and putting the third on the top by adding well bond and glue to the corners. It is so cute, y'all. I am loving it. So I'm going to set it aside and let it dry. And I have this star. I'm going to kind of stain it with some Tim Holtz stain just to kind of knock that white down because I want to make it a rusty star. I think it would look good up against that silver. So after I sprayed it to knock the white down, I got 3 shades of paint, black, brown, and orange. Put some of that, a little bit on all of it, and now I'm going to coat it with cinnamon. The paint is still wet, and I'm just putting some cinnamon, dust it off, and now I'm going to get my Mod Podge, put a coat of Mod Podge to seal that cinnamon in, and that is it. It is so cute, y'all, and I'm going to do the same thing. Put a little glue and well bond on the tips of this star and put it on top of the tree and see if it holds. They did hold, and I did find some dowel sticks that held also. Such a unique Christmas tree. Don't you love that? You can change it up. This one I added a brass base. Isn't it pretty? Or how about glass? Either way, they are gorgeous. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe. And I'll see you soon. God bless. Happy crafting.